is happening, Magnus? This is peppered all through my feed on Twitter. Apparently, Joe Rogan shuts down Bernie Sanders. Let's see what he shuts him down on. This should be interesting. Joe does ask certain questions that a lot of other people won't do.
What it says is, you're a billionaire. You have now the constitutional right, because your money is your freedom of expression.
Bernie don't give a damn about his hair, do he? I just went bald with it. At least lay the sides down a little bit, Bernie. He don't give a damn. Isn't he a billionaire? He got so much money. He don't need to care about his hair, but it gives him a mad scientist look. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you don't like Bernie Sanders? You can put millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into a campaign and express your view about how terrible Bernie Sanders is,
right.
And you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are today, is that Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon. But
he doesn't say Elon, he says Elon. I've never heard that one before. Elon Musk.
But he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. I think that's absurd that any one person...
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as well.
They spent $1.5 billion just over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So I'm not here just to say it's a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
I see why it's circulating. Yeah. It is what it is. It's true, you know. Sometimes you step in it when you're trying to prove a point. You better be ready on all angles when you're coming on the Joe Rogan show, because one thing I do like about how Joe asks questions is that he calmly asks questions, and I think he knows what he's doing. He doesn't make it aggressive. You know, if he had to be like, wait a minute now, you know, sometimes people view that differently. But you say, well, wait a minute, how much did they spend on Harris? You know, see, now I'm going to have to watch the whole show. See, that's how you get people hooked. What
it says is, you're a billionaire.
Okay, I knew there was another one I heard was going around, one about taxes. Let me check this one out, too.
The people who own that technology and the corporations who utilize that technology are becoming phenomenally richer, right?
Exactly.
Right. And that is the issue. Which gets back to things like tax reform, like making sure that in America we do not have the massive levels of income and wealth inequality that we currently have.
But the problem with that is the taxes go to what? An incompetent, corrupt government? This is the...
I've always asked the question, well, if you can print as much money as you want, how come we get taxed? I hope Trump is able to get rid of the income tax. I really hope he can.
The issue that people have is
good, fair enough. All right.
Willing to pay our fair... Look, I'd be more than willing to pay more taxes if we lived in a better country. I'd be like, this would be great. If I felt like if I pay more taxes,
your job is,
everybody's surviving, everybody's doing well, that's good. Great.
All right. Then that is the issue of how you revitalize American democracy. I'm not going to argue with you that the system today is pretty bad. All right, I'm going there today.
Okay.
And ironically, it's bad because there's no competition, right? It's corrupt, but it's not a free market. Like the government itself has a monopoly on governing. And when they're completely corrupt and when they're making insane amounts of money through taxes and they're not accountable.
No, all right, no, I don't. No, this is the way I see it.
All right, you're going too far. It's a little bit too much. Let's back it up. Let's back it up here. Let's back it up, Joe.
I'm not, but by the way, I'm not advocating for making it privatized, making all of government privatized. I'm just talking about the realities of corruption in our current
but
government system.
let's talk about what we mean by corruption. I do not believe, by the way, because I know these guys, some of them are corrupt.
Okay, let's say incompetent and waste.
Okay. All right, let's
we can take fraud out of the equation and just talk about incompetency and waste.
Just stumbling, boiny.
You got it. All right, but let me back it up again.
Okay.
What I tell you, back it up. I'm gonna have to check out the whole show now, huh? I'm gonna have to check out the whole show. Post the comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, why don't you hit the like button, subscribe, and share? And yeah, we got a whole lot of problems in our government. Look at the history of taxes and stuff. It's very interesting about how we got where we are. It's just like, okay, let's go back. Let's go backwards. Let's take it back to the way it used to be. But anyway, 10 million subscribers. Woo!